There's a discussion that comes up all the time in the four-wheel drive community, and that is, should I fit a front locker or a rear locker first? So in this video, we're going to explore that, and at the end of the video, I'm going to share with you what I think you should do first. And then I'm going to share with you what's the alternate. Here at MadMatt 4 Drive, I'm all about educating and building the four-wheel drive community so we can wheel well. I'd love it if you'd hit that subscribe button and then hit the bell so you can get all those notifications as well. So today, it is a stinking hot day and I'm filming all of this by myself as well as presenting and driving. So I've got 4 cameras set up around the place and we're going to have a go because Mrs. MadMatt's tied up editing all of the other videos that we've got to get done. So there's the excuses for maybe a poor production quality. But anyway, let's get into this. So I'm going to drive these obstacles 4 different ways. First way is I'm going to drive it open, no diff locks engaged, but in 4-wheel drive. Then I'm going to drive it with the rear locker in, then the front locker in with no rear locker, and then I'll drive it twin locked. So how's my Toyota Bundeera set up? Well, it's got an Ecotec 3.8 V6 in the engine bay. It's got a 5-speed R151 gearbox. It's got twin lockers, which are the Terrain Tamer diff locker kit, which utilises the Harrop E-locker, but it comes as a complete kit, so you get your bearings, your seals, your flanges, everything you need ready to go. Then I've got the Maxxis Razor MT tyres, aired down to 11 PSI. The way I'm going to try and drive this is the same every time, whereby I sit the gearbox in first gear low range and I sit on about 1000 RPM. Now, if the vehicle gets to a point where it gets a bit too scary and I'm going to hurt the vehicle, I'm obviously going to dip the clutch, put my foot on the brake or do what's appropriate. So this is open diff lock, first gear low range, and just that 1000 RPM just crawling in. So we come up to that obstacle. Clutch in, I didn't like that. So she started to drive herself over onto its side. All right, let's go rear locker. We come in again, same, trying to keep that 1000 RPM, first gear low range, up, oi, 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 oi. Same scenario, she just wants to drive herself over. Okay, so we'll go back. That's a horrible feeling, I might add. Okay, front locker in. 1000 RPM. There she is. First gear low range. Okay, easy as. All right. That was certainly a lot nicer that time around. That wasn't. Okay, here we go again. Both lockers are in. 1000 RPM. And up we go. So that felt like it was a slightly bigger wheel lift than just the front locker. This is one of the reasons why a rear locker only can be an issue. What's going on here is I've got the rear locker in only, the rear tyre has got into this hole here, and that tyre has got a lot of traction, but this tyre has to go up the step. So that means that the vehicle's got this pivoting action because this becomes a fulcrum point or a pivot point. That tyre can steer it around. And if the front doesn't have enough resistance to counteract that, that's why we get this pivoting up and wanting to roll the vehicle over. That's one reason why having a rear diff lock can be a concern. All right, first gear, low range, 1000 RPM, open, no diff locks. As you'd expect, nothing's going to happen. All right, I'm not going to try any driving techniques because that's cheating. So I just come in, do that, doesn't work. Okay, first gear, low range, rear locker in, a little bit of throttle, just crawls straight up. A little bit of rear wheel spin, but really that was pretty straightforward. Nice. Okay, so front locker in now, same 1000 RPM. Okay, a little bit harder for the front to climb than the rear. but then the rear coming up, it's scrabbled much the same as the rear scrabbled. So, but from a driver's seat, same feel, like very controlled attitude, both front and rear there. Both lockers in, first gear low range, 1000 RPM. This should just crawl. Look at that, front's up, rear up without even so much of a worry. Righto, first gear low range, 1000 RPM, no lockers. Bandera wheel lift and rock over. I got up there okay. Rear locker in. All right, here we go. And over we go. Too easy. Front locker in. And up. That wheel lift was a little less, I reckon, from the seat of the pants. Both lockers in. 1000 RPM. Very stable. This one I'm going to do differently because I need twin locked to get out of it because I've done a test run on it. So I'm going to come in open lock, then I'll put the rear locker in, then I'll take the rear locker out and put the front locker in, then I'll put both lockers in. Okay, no lockers. Again, trying to do the same drive, but a little higher in the revs this time, 1200 RPM. Into the mud. All right, that's no more forward momentum there. So rear locker on, and away we go. Nice, as expected, very good. Everything's lovely at this point, very controlled, feels comfortable in the car. Bit of height. Okay, that's the end of that. Okay, do a hill start recovery. You'll have to watch one of my other videos to see how to do that. Okay, so come back here, rear locker out, front locker in. Same line, that 1200 RPM. Okay, same effect. Pretty much the exact same drive. It didn't work. Okay, so now we'll put both lockers in and do the same drive. $1200, up we go. And there we go. Once that mud came off the tyres, we crawled straight up. So how was that for a video where I did everything on my own? I'd love to know from you what you think the end result of that drive and that footage is. Should we go front locker first or rear locker? My opinion, I used to believe that rear locker would be the go for the normal reasons of weight transfer onto the rear, means more traction on the rear tyres, means you go further. But I no longer subscribe to that because of the danger, the fear of pushing the vehicle up too high, pirouetting, falling away and so on. So I now subscribe to the front locker first because that is pulling the vehicle up the obstacles. And I think this footage demonstrates to you that you can see a flatter vehicle over the bigger obstacles than when we push the vehicle with the rear locker. Certainly from the driver's seat, the front locker is a more controlled, predictable drive than just a rear locker. At the end of the day, the flies are annoying and twin locked is really the way you need to head. At the very least, a limited slip in the rear that works and a front locker. That's my thoughts. I really do want to know your input. I know this is a bit of a hot topic, but I'm hoping this has helped clarify it for some people. Maybe you've changed your mind. I'd love to know. All right, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell so you get those notifications, share the video around so you can share the MadMatt love with everybody. I hope the content's worth it. I believe it is. I'm MadMatt. Stay safe on the trail.